back with another episode of our dorky podcast. Pop apologist Chandler, hello.
Hi, fellow dork.
So great to be gathered with you here today on this, gorgeous Tuesday morning. Did you go to the Met Gala by chance?
No, I didn't even try. Every year I think, I'll walk across the park and stand outside and try to catch a glimpse. And then every time I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, you know what's funny is that was a joke I was trying to make because obviously neither of us were invited. I didn't realize that people actually do go even if they aren't invited.
Yes, well, people go to stand outside and like catch a glimpse of people exiting their cars.
Gotcha. So a true peasant activity.
Yes, and it's honestly would be like a 25-minute endeavor for me, but it just sounds like too much work. It sounds like a lot of standing. I prefer to be sitting most of the time. So I don't do it. I never go.
I know my proper place in the universe. I know I'm a peon, but there's just a part of me that's like, I'm never going to stand outside a building, even to see Taylor Swift for 3 seconds. I'm not going to stand outside a building and be in throngs of people.
I would do that. For Taylor Swift, I would.
You would?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would stand outside a building to see her exit. Of course.
I have ego issues. I'm not going to place myself in that position. And unfortunately for both of us, neither of us were in the position to walk the Met Gala this year. We weren't invited. Somehow we were overlooked. They were high on numbers already and they just couldn't fit us in.
Right. Maybe if a few more people had declined, we could have made the cut.
Yeah. Maybe if we had been correct about Kate, things would have turned out very differently. But instead of, attending this year, we are gathered here today to discuss the red carpet fashions.
Right. We can't go. We're never going to be able to go, but we can always comment.
We can always give our opinions, our uncredentialed opinions. But before we get there, I have to tell you that I was getting a massage yesterday. And we have...
Don't you feel like you got enough massages on Guana Island?
Well, we have someone who comes to the house every 2 weeks to do a massage. And his name is Jose. He's great. And I was getting a massage. And he always does this thing where he uses his elbow and he kind of like goes on the top of your butt and then the side of your butt and then the lower part of your butt, like where your butt
like your
and your... No, he doesn't do elbow in the butthole. We haven't had that, yet. That might be an advanced move at another time. But anyway, he'll do like the backside of your thigh where it meets your butt. Okay. So like
your hamstring?
Underneath. It's your hamstring. Yes, correct. So I never feel anything from these movements. I don't enjoy them. It feels like an elbow is being dug into my bone. It's just like, I don't know. It's tricky. So anyway, I said to Jose, who I know pretty well, he's been coming for over a year now. I said, hey, Jose, I got to be honest. And this just escaped my mouth before I could stop myself, but he's like doing it again, and I'm like dreading it again.
Oh, you're on the table. This is not a pre-massage consultation moment.
No. So he has an elbow.
So you're like, it's like muffled. Hey, Jose, I gotta be honest.
Exactly. So he's got his elbow on my hamstring, basically. And I'm just like, hey, Jose, I gotta be honest. The butt stuff does nothing for me.
Oh my God.
And it just... flow.
Is that what you actually said verbatim?
That's what I actually said. I know. And then I was just like, I'm so sorry. That came out totally wrong. I don't even know what butt stuff feels like. I actually never been there. Just to clarify that. But it was kind of hilarious. Anyway.
So you're about to get sued. You're going to get sued. I think you should get sued. I think, Jose, if you're listening, please bring a lawsuit against her.
I've met someone whose family had a tort class action lawsuit from their staff. Okay. I think I told you about this.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'll tell you off the record more details. Kagan and I, the guy who comes every 2 weeks to do a massage, no, I don't think there's an HR relationship.
Yeah.
And I think he knew. I was like, I'm so sorry. That came out so wrong. And he laughed. He was so funny about it. He's like, we're going to refer to it as the butt stuff from now on. He was super cute. So no, I don't think I'm going to get sued, but maybe.
No, he's great. I'll also add, he's quite handsome.
Yeah, he's I mean, you probably had the same movement.
I actually have had a massage from him, and it was great. And I just remember you saying like, oh, you know, the guy who comes to give us massages, do you want to use mine because I have an appointment or something? And I just remember being like taken aback by how handsome he was and a little nervous. Not because I wanted to flirt with him, but just because it was like, you know, he's kind of like a masseuse out of a movie.
He's very handsome.
Masseuses, you're not supposed to say that anymore. I'm getting sued. I should get sued. I'm going to get sued. I should be banned from massages after what I've just said.
I feel like someone we were talking with was like, I'm nervous to take a CBD gummy before getting a massage because I don't want to get turned on. Were you part of that conversation?
I think that was me who said that.
Oh, yeah, that was you.
It was me.
You said that on Guana Island that an early bird for a massage can actually like make you a little horny.
Oh my gosh. No, it's not that that's what it does for me. Okay, I don't want to like misconstrue people about like the effects of early bird, but I think that, you know, sometimes it's just like I feel a little too relaxed. I don't know. Don't know if I'm willing to share more. But okay. I don't take early birds before massages because it's just sometimes I can get in my head about how I'm feeling. I don't even know if I should stop talking right now. I've never done anything. Nothing's ever happened to me because I've always, you know, like realized boundaries. I'm happily engaged.
I've stopped realizing you stopped making sense 4 sentences ago. So we should move on.
Happily engaged. I'm happily engaged.
Oh, wait, actually, I have to tell you this.
What?
On Aaron and Sarah Foster's podcast, I wish if anyone listens to that and can tell me the episode, I want to re-listen to this, but apparently there's a masseuse in Paris who you go to, and he gives you like this 2-hour massage that's like crazy, and everyone at the end is crying.
See, like that's why I don't want to take an early bird, because sometimes massages just lead to emotions that are not necessarily wanted. And I get it. That's amazing, though. I kind of would want to do that.
I really want to do that. Okay, so let's move on to the Met Gala. All the A-listers donned the red carpet, Chandler. I really want to get into these looks with you, but before we do that, I want to share about the theme, because I did a little bit of like researching on the theme, and I think it's kind of interesting.
Okay, please lay it on me.
So the dress code for the gala on Monday night was Garden of Time, an apparent reference to a 1962 short story by the British writer J.G. Ballard, in which aristocrats living in a walled estate are menaced by the advance of a violent rabble. Do you know what a violent rabble is, Chandler?
No clue.
Okay, so I am just going to share a little synopsis of the short story. So the short story, The Garden of Time, describes the last days of Count Axel and his wife, known only as the Countess, who reside in a Palladian villa surrounded by a garden. They pass the days in seclusion. The Count busies himself by attending to rare manuscripts. The Countess plays Bach and Mozart on a harpsichord. You know, generally like we spend our days with Kagan and Ben.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
The threat to their peaceful existence arrives in the form of an army on the horizon. As it moves closer, Count Axel develops a clearer view of this vast throng of people, men and women, interspersed with a few soldiers. In an effort to turn back the advance of this immense rabble, he reverses time by plucking blooms from the garden's most exquisite plant, the time flowers. Soon enough, the last flower is plucked and the mob overruns the property. The villa lies in ruins, and all that remains of the Count and the Countess is a pair of statues gazing out over the grounds from behind a stand of thorn bushes. The Garden of Time is a fitting but ironic choice as a theme for this year's most lavish celebration. It's fitting because the Met Gala celebrates the contemporary equivalents of aristocrats at a time of widespread social anger toward elites. It's ironic because the reference suggests that the guests and hosts may be doomed. The sympathies of the Garden of Time seem to lie with the Count and Countess, and yet the author slips in hints that their lovely existence may be empty. When Count Axel puts his arm around his wife's waist, he realizes that he had not embraced her for several years. That's the quote.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty devastating.
I thought that was kind of cool and fitting.
Yeah, definitely cool. Definitely very fitting of the time. You know, I will say when you first started to read the story, I started to glaze over because it's like when Taylor Swift has a song about history or like some fable and I kind of lose interest. But by the end of it, I was totally gripped. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, I think it's an interesting kind of metaphor or like allegory or whatever it is.
The only thing that I struggle with, Lauren, is this idea that Amelia Grey is one of the aristocrats.
Literally. That was actually one of my comments when I was looking at her outfit, because this is how Vogue explains Amelia Grey, by the way. So let's just cut to this. We'll just get right into the outfits, and we can start with Amelia Grey. I didn't think we were going to start here, but apparently we are.
We got to start. Let's go bottom to top.
So this is how Vogue.com describes Amelia Grey's appearance at the Met Gala. Tonight, model of the moment, Amelia Grey Hamlin made her Met Gala debut, and in breathtaking romantic style. Anyway, and then they describe her outfit. The very questionable moniker of model of the moment, Chandler?
I'm sorry. Literally, this is just not true. I'm not even trying to mean girl right now. Amelia Grey, she is a model, but she is not the model of the moment.
It's like so rude of me, but I just am so over these celebrities buying their kids' careers.
Yes.
It's to be honest, this is going to be so rude, but it's one thing if their kids genuinely are like deserve it, but like I just don't see it with her. And so I'm just like, it's like undeserving Nepo baby.
Yes, completely. Also, for what it's worth, I thought that her look looked ill-fitting. It doesn't look centered on her body. And I feel like if you want to go for like a really structured, abstract look, literally having, I don't know, a costume, a structure on your body, I liked more of Taylor Russell's fit. If you'll remember, she was in the Loewe, like white kind of bottom and then like that bodice structure. Anyway, Amelia Grey was not doing it for me. Also, the shoes are like Charlotte Russe.
Okay, so I'll describe the outfit for anyone who, and by the way, this episode is on Spotify in video form and also on YouTube, and we're going to have photos of each outfit. So just an FYI for anyone listening on Apple Podcasts, you can find this with photos on the video format. So she is wearing this hair. This is how Vogue describes it. The 22-year-old fashion star stepped into this year's Enchanted Forest red carpet in one of the most memorable looks of the season, a light-up terrarium dress from John Takahashi's sensational spring 2024 show with sheer fabric revealing bundles of roses and delicate butterflies encased within the gown structure. So it's basically like...
It's a terranium. She's wearing a terranium.
She's wearing a terranium. She's wearing a knee-length terranium with a strapless yellow bustier, correct? That lights up inside.
Right.
And then she has gold platform heels on, ankle strap platform heels on.
Her hair is kind of done in like a slicked, wet look.
This is, for me, this look, it's kind of gimmicky and it's not flattering and it's just not it. And like, again, I don't really want Amelia Grey forced on me as like the new supermodel.
Absolutely not. I mean, I think this is the product of just a Vogue social writer or whoever having to like just come up with literally some type of like byline.
Right.
I don't think Vogue is actually trying to push Amelia Grey on all of us. And I did the test for myself where I was like, okay, if this wasn't on Amelia Grey, who I obviously have beef with, would I still like this look? And no, I just think that, sometimes some of these looks give Project Runway, and this to me gives more Project Runway than Met Gala. So that's all I have to say about it.
Middle school project for me, not even Project Runway. Okay, what did you think of Lana Del Rey?
I think Lana Del Rey looks gorgeous. I love her hair being this color. I thought the veil was really beautiful and like kind of breathtaking with its like height, but the twig applique was distracting for me and I didn't love the colors of it.
Yeah, I found this look, so it's for anyone who is not looking at the video, she's wearing this nude mesh dress, this kind of corset dress that's fitting with, how do you describe the bottom, would you say? Like a floor length?
Yeah, like floor length.
With a train?
Yeah, it's got a definite train, but she has like this layer of like a sheer veil that goes over the top of it. And then it has like this twig applique all over it that goes all the way up into like actual twigs coming up the back of her veil, holding it up.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This for me was very otherworldly. It was kind of like she'd stepped out of the fashion forest. I kind of loved it.
You loved it?
I kind of love this look. I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. And I thought that it was... The thing that I like about a lot of these looks is that they don't look like dresses or looks that could be worn on another carpet. Like, for example, Jessica Biel wore a really gorgeous pink dress that was, this huge gown with all these florals on it. And I think she looks technically maybe prettier. But I think that there's something cooler about Lana's outfit, or her dress. It's just more it's more like art and less like a beautiful gown.
Let's talk about Jessica Biel, because at first when you said that, I thought you were going to say that you loved it, but I just thought it didn't hit on the theme. It was like, it's a beautiful dress, but to me it was more about like a pretty dress than it was about like the theme. And I think you can do both, but this to me, I was like, is it supposed to be like a flamingo knot? The flamingos in the garden? Did you see the part about her her Met Gala routine?
Yes. So apparently she bathed in for 30 minutes in as hot of water as she could tolerate in 20 pounds of Epsom salts. What does that do?
Well, I think it like helps your muscles and like inflammation potentially, which is like a weird throwaway word now. I feel like I'm in with celebrities, but 20 pounds is quite a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, do your muscles being inflamed really do have, I just don't understand how it translates.
Maybe it's supposed to not make her bloated. Also, should I be adding that to my like night before my wedding routine?
Potentially you must. Yeah, she had a TikTok video about it. I thought that this dress was gorgeous, but again, I don't think it's as interesting or artful, and it could be on any other red carpet. And when I'm looking at the Met Gala, I really want to see walking art. I want to see these looks that feel like, honestly, they're hard to be in. Like, they take so much effort to execute this look. And that for me is what makes them impressive. And this just felt like a really beautiful gown.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to Sydney Sweeney. So the famous blonde Sydney Sweeney ditched her signature golden locks, everyone, and she stepped out in a baby blue tulle gown with florals on it and black gloves. And this was the big surprise. She had a black wig on, with bangs.
A la Joan Jett.
Yes. I just think that this was a sad moment for me, okay? Do you want to know why?
Why? Yeah. Tell me.
Because I just feel like it just makes you realize how much long blonde hair helps some people look a lot better. Even though it's so basic. People like us. And people like Sydney. Because this is not her best look.
She is us. We are her. And I appreciate... Oh yeah, that's generous. Even
that's very generous.
But yeah, it's a bold choice. I didn't love it. And yeah, it was definitely humbling for me to see. It reminded me a little bit of when I went darker, and I was just like, this is just not my best look. I'm just like, yeah.
It's like when you have this kind of skin tone we do. Anyway, it just was another nail in my coffin of like, I'm going to be paying $400 now. That's the new price of my new salon every 10 weeks for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Did you like the dress?
You know what? The dress for me, it fell into the category of it could have been on any other red carpet. It was not that interesting to me. The black gloves, also, it was kind of like giving Taylor at the Grammys. I get that it's supposed to be fashion girly, but it's just not interesting enough.
Yeah, the color scheme wasn't it for me. Okay.
Let's get to Kim Kardashian. So Kim, speaking of someone who puts a lot of effort into her Met Gala looks and does not mind being uncomfortable to, what's the word that people always use? To slap, to serve.
Yeah. Yes.
Someone who does not mind being uncomfortable to serve. Kim Kardashian donned a custom look from Maison Margiela. So John Galliano, the creative director of Maison Margiela, fashioned Kim into an armor-esque bustier top with floral motifs imprinted into the bodice. Kardashian added a silver floral chainmail dress, worn folded over like a skirt, and custom Margiela thong that matches the bodice. Over the metallic outfit, she wore a gray bolero cardigan. Some people think the cardigan was meant to be a little dig at Taylor Swift. I think that's a reach.
That's definitely a reach. I loved the cardigan. I thought it made it more interesting. That being said, Kim's waist looks so small here. It really does look quite uncomfortable, and it's almost distracting. And I think that this also might be the way that she's posing. It does look like she's really like holding herself in and like kind of posing in a somewhat awkward way. And it was distracting for me. And I have to wonder, does she have like crazy IBS symptoms after like when she goes home and takes all this off and gets into like a big t-shirt? Like there have been times for me when I wear too tight of pants, and the minute I take them off, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, anyway, it's very, very distracting how constricting the waist is.
I don't mind the waist. I think that it's becoming a little bit formulaic. I think that we might want to see something with Kim that's a little more interesting. or a little more surprising than the super cinched waist. I feel like she's been doing that a lot at the Met. So that's one thing I'll say.
With all of her looks.
You know where I just lose it is when I look down and I see she's in 3 to 4 inch platform clear chunky heels. Yeah. I'm confused. What's the purpose of these? They're so ugly.
I think they're just truly meant to blend in.
I know, but they don't. They don't blend in. I can see them right here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you like the cardigan? Did you like the sweater?
I did like the sweater, actually. I thought it was a cool moment. I thought it did add some intrigue. There's a video where she was like, basically the idea is I like stepped out of, or had the craziest night of my life and threw this on like in a garden and am leaving with my hair messy.
Which I loved. I loved that.
Yeah. And anyway, I think all in all, let's start rating the looks. We didn't rate the other ones, but let's rate this. I'm going to give this a 7.2 out of 10.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give this a 7.
A 7. Okay, moving on to Gigi Hadid. So this year for the Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion, that was what they called the theme. The supermodel is joining Tom Brown in the Garden of Time tonight. So Hadid wore an unmistakably brown look, a white off-the-shoulder corset dress with exaggerated hips, layered underneath a white silk moire coat with black Duchesse satin tipping. I can't even read these words. Thank you, Vogue.com, but I understand none of this. Essentially, she's wearing this layered, tiered white gown with black what's the black edges?
Yeah, black trim.
Black trim, thank you. And these really pretty yellow flowers and like green applique leaves. All the flowers, if you look closely, are like crystal and finely beaded. Apparently there were millions of hand beaded crystals on this gown. And the other thing that's cool, if you look at it from the front, it looks like she has a jacket on that's slipped off. This outfit is like very sculptural.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of the best looks of the night.
I agree. She knocked it out of the park. It's delicate. It's a look you couldn't wear at any other red carpet event, in my opinion. And I think she just looks spectacular. I love the neckline on this, the off the shoulder. Like, I'm like, okay, how do I get a wedding dress like that neckline? I love it. Everything about her looks gorgeous.
She looks so good. And I think that she strikes the right balance here of flattering, beautiful, pretty, like if you want that. And then also interesting, artful, like a true piece of art. It was interesting to see her trying to move in it because they definitely had to basically like hold it for her and like hold her as she moved along the red carpet. But yeah, I thought this was so, so cool. Before I looked closely though, I was like, this kind of looks safe because it just looked like a big white wedding gown with like roses and black trim. It wasn't until I saw the suit jacket that I was like, oh no, this is interesting and cool. Yeah. Did you see the suit jacket immediately?
No, I didn't see that immediately, but I just also thought it looked, to me, I don't know, to me it was striking from the get-go. Maybe just because she's so striking. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well let's move on to an equally striking.
Rate that look.
Yeah, we got to rate it.
This was a 10 for me.
It's a 10 for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
So moving on to Lauren Sánchez. Lauren Sánchez donned the red carpet of the Met Gala, everyone, with a dress by Oscar de la Renta. So this is interesting. This is a quote she said to Vogue.com. She said that the creative co-founders, Fernando Garcia and Laura Kim, first sent her potential sketches for the 2024 Met Gala, but many of them look like what one would expect Lauren to wear. If you saw them, quote, you'd be like, oh, that's very Lauren, extremely sexy, low cut. And then she went on to say, no, I think I'm going to try something different this time. And I don't know, there's just something interesting about her being like so self-aware. Like, it's just so funny that she's like, my style is super sexy, low cut, hot girl.
But for what it's worth, the boobs are still so like right in your face in this dress.
Oh, I mean, but they're not nearly as in your face as the red carpet look or the White House gala look she had where her tits were like fully out.
Right. I don't know. Like looking like bolt-ons. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It is cute that she's so self-aware. I love her.
She also said her best accessory of the night, her quote, it's going to be Jeff, she said with a laugh.
Oh, cute.
So that was cute. So anyway, this gown is basically meant to look like a shattered, not a shattered mirror, but a shattered Tiffany lamp. Okay. So it had mosaic pearl and mirrored appliques that resembled a shattered stained glass rose. So you think of like a Tiffany lamp. The shattered glass disappears and reveals the black velvet going up toward her very small waist, which is a gorgeous silhouette, one of the designers told Vogue.
Beautiful.
What do you rate this look, Chandler?
6.
I'm going to give this a 6.5, a 0.5 only because I love a live girl. For me, the white pearl, I didn't know it was pearl, so it kind of looked like paper to me when I was seeing it on camera.
It gives more shattered glass than shattered pearl, and or shattered rose. Maybe that's just, it's a photograph. I didn't see it in person.
Well, and I kept thinking, I want this to be all glass. Like, I thought if it was all silver and like reflecting like crazy, it would have looked a lot cooler than so much of the opaque white. Right. So that was my complaint. But Oscar de la Renta did not call me in Puerto Rico and my Eileen Fisher to give them any pointers during the design process. So here we are. The hair for me was a total miss.
Oh, the hair. The hair is just like so boring. Like, let's do something else.
The hair looks like she's going to dinner, casual dinner with her friends. Like, literally, and she did not have time to do it. And so she blow dried it halfway and then did some like scrunchy mousse.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, I have some Jeff Bezos tea while we're on the subject of a live girl. You ready for this?
Tell me. Yeah.
So this is crazy, but I have a friend who told me, and this is it's a good friend. She told me that her friend was in Miami this weekend and Jeff Bezos was there, and out in the open, 3 girls were massaging his crotch. Not model-esque, which was a strange detail. Normal looking girls. He was also in conversation with Tom Brady. And people were taking pictures. I don't know if this story is true because to me it's so unbelievable. Like, if this had actually happened, I think these pictures would have hit the internet. So I'm not even going to say allegedly. I'm going to say I think this is, I don't know, but I believe my friend. So it's like a weird line I'm trying to walk.
She see it in person? She or he?
She did not see it in person, but she said her friend saw it in person. And she told me I'm not going to give this away, but she told me like the name of the restaurant he was at.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that like shocking?
Very shocking. Also, I don't know. These, like, the uber wealthy, the uber rich, they do weird shit like this.
Yeah, they might just operate from different rules than pedestrian suburban, bitches like us.
They're aristocrats, Lauren. They're different from us.
So true. Okay, so the next person I want to talk about, the next A-lister at the Met Gala, and final. Oh, actually, we need to get to Zendaya too. So before we get to Zendaya, let's talk about Tyla. Chandler, are you a Tyla fan?
I don't actually know what Tyla's from. What is she in?
She is a singer of Water, which I'm sure you've heard. Have you heard that?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. And the only reason I'm doing this is because when I first saw her photo, I was like, that's one of the prettiest people I've ever seen.
Yes.
She's absolutely stunning.
Literally.
She's so gorgeous. So that's her big hit, is Water by Tyla. Anyway, but for anyone who just saw the photos of the Met Gala, she's the one who wore the sand dress. And there was a moment where someone had to literally pick her up by the waist and put her on the next step like a Barbie doll. It was kind of cute. Not gonna lie, this is my favorite look of the night.
Yeah, I would also say this is my favorite look of the night. I think also because she just chose a different element for like this idea of garden, it's so she's wearing the dress made of sand, which is a nod to the sands of time. And it's so sculpted. It's so sexy, but it's not vulgar. I don't know if anyone saw EmRata's look.
I did not see EmRata's look, so I'll go to that in a second. But I will say I just find this entire look to be exactly what the Met Gala is all about. Like, first of all, it's a sophisticated take on the theme. It's not a huge floral Monique Lhuillier dress like Jessica Biel's. Okay, this is an actual art piece.
Artful. Yeah.
Yes. And then I love the hourglass with the representing the sands of time in her hand. I thought that's so cool. And I think that really, like, this theme, I was trying to get to it at the beginning, but my thoughts just weren't flowing. It really speaks to mortality, right? Like, whether you know, no matter who you are in life, like mortality is always, what was the phrase that they use? Like the round, what was it? The rouse?
The rabble?
The rabble. Thank you.
It meant
the
rabble?
rabble of mortality, aka, you know, us all returning to the earth and us all, you know, being equal in the end. It comes for all of us. And I think that some people took a more sophisticated approach to this theme and some people took a really basic one. And I found this to be like such a cool, such an instantly discernible take on the theme.
Yeah.
And also her body is crazy.
Amazing.
She's like she's actually a very talented artist in her own right. Her, like Lisa Rinna didn't buy her career. I just am into this girl.
No, yeah. Also, I love the sand on her shoulder and forearm.
Yes.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Please go look at EmRata's look.
This is a 10 out of 10. And so I would like you to redo your Gigi Hadid score because this is not the same.
I think that Gigi Hadid is a 9.
Thank you. Gigi Hadid is a 10 as a person, but her look was a 9 compared to Tyla's.
Correct.
Okay, let's get to Zendaya finally. So as one of the evenings... Oh, yeah?
Do you want to look at EmRata momentarily?
Oh, yeah, please. Let me look at EmRata so we can really make this a very comprehensive sartorial recap of this event.
Right.
Okay, so I'm seeing EmRata's look. EmRata is wearing what I would just describe as something that looks like it could be a Berta off the... Like a wedding, you know how they have right now, like see-through wedding gowns?
Right, yes.
It looks like a see-through wedding gown from Berta or a second look. I mean, it's absolutely stunning, but like, it's like, we have seen your body so much.
Yeah. She has a beautiful face. And unfortunately, all like go-to look is a naked dress. And I feel like it just distracts from her beautiful face. And I feel like I'm sounding like a misogynist right now. I don't mean to be, but you know, I also just think the naked dress is a little overdone.
Well, thank you. I also think that I don't want to see your actual butt crack underneath your naked dress. And you can literally see, did you see this on her Instagram? Her full, or not full, but you can see like 3 inches of her actual butt crack. So no thong underneath. Like you are looking at her butt crack.
I'm looking at it.
It's vulgar.
Now.
It's so vulgar.
Yeah.
And it's like a race to the most pornographic outfit, I feel like. And I'm not into it. I'm just not into it, everyone.
Yeah. Ugh. God, Lord.
Even though she looks objectively stunning, she's a gorgeous woman.
And the dress itself, the beading is really pretty. It's just kind of the same thing we've seen over and over again.
Yes. Her and
she loses points for the lack of like
creativity.
Variation. Yeah.
Her and Kim need to get in a room with their, oh my gosh, and you can see her full areolas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You did not notice that before?
No, I did not notice that before. I think we're living in a fallen world. I think our parents were right that Hollywood is corrupt. I don't know that I want my children to listen to my podcast someday because truly I don't like the direction our society's going in. I'm having a full Serena Joy moment. I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious.
No, the full boob nipple was, I don't know.
Aggressive.
I don't know. Aggressive.
Okay. Zendaya, everyone. One of the evening's co-hosts, Zendaya was bound to deliver a memorable fashion moment. All right. And she brought 2 striking ensembles.
I thought she had 3 looks.
Oh, I didn't.
Well, maybe including an after party or something. That's probably what I'm thinking.
Right. Of. She walked the carpet in 2 looks. One was an ocean blue gown by Maison Margiela's John Galliano that included a matching dramatic headpiece. The haute couture ensemble was composed of a large sage lame and organza bias cut dress worn over a Duchess satin corset. The dress also featured bands of hand-painted metallic crin, iridescent organza, and hand-embroidered corsage. This dress reminded me a lot of Sex and the City.
Okay. Like her wedding dress or
head. Yeah, like the blue peacock headpiece.
Yeah. All I can see is like Christmas ribbon with this. Like,
I do not love this look.
Buying. No, not at all. I'm sorry. Once again, I'm not a fashion girly, but all I am seeing is like Joann's fabrics, like ribbon. And then I'm seeing like the fake flowers you can buy at Joann's and then just like thinking about spray painting them like gold. I thought I just did not like her makeup and styling at all.
I mean, you are so correct, Chandler, that this could absolutely be Christmas ornaments and Joann's fabric, like taped onto. This could be a Christmas handiwork project.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, and it's just it's a little bit of a travesty because Zendaya is so objectively stunning and gorgeous.
Right.
And so
all of her press looks for like her movie Challengers were so good that I was expecting to be a lot more wowed by this. I do think her second look was better.
I didn't like her second look either. I felt like,
but didn't you feel like it was better than the first?
Not really. I feel like the opposite of EmRata. It was almost like she was too covered.
Yeah, that's
she
fair.
kind of got swallowed by this dress. And then the huge rose headpiece. I don't know. It just, for me, it wasn't beautiful to look at.
I always think about like when everyone gets home from the Met Gala and they're finally able to like scratch their head and like rub their eyes. How nice that must be.
Well, you know, didn't Gwyneth Paltrow say that like she just hates going to the Met Gala because it's like not that nice inside. It's like not that nice of an event and it's super crowded.
Really?
Yeah.
I
she like gave
that.
this whole quote and like Anna Wintour apparently got like pretty annoyed about it, about how she just finds the Met Gala to be like not a fun experience.
Gwyneth is just also not the type of person who I think wants to get full glam.
Right.
Ever.
She's the opposite of Kim Kardashian.
Yes. She like doesn't want to sit in a glam chair for 3 hours. Like I feel like she barely wants to wear mascara and eyeshadow.
Which, by the way, we were both similarly neglectful of a glam moment on Guan Island. We don't have a single photo together. We did not get cute for dinner once.
I tried. I got some cute photos of myself, but none of the two of us.
We went to dinner basically with like wet hair every night. It was so relaxing.
It was amazing.
I honestly kind of feel like sometimes when you get used to on vacation or where you move to not getting glam for dinner, it's really hard to go back because it's such a feat after a long day of just like, you know,
of swimming and being in the sun. I think also when it's super humid like that, the idea of doing your hair just feels like the biggest task.
Pointless.
Especially when it's just going to fully, you know, frizz out.
Fall. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, always fun to watch all these looks. Anything else on the Met Gala before we move on, Chandler?
No.
Okay, so the next thing on the docket is discussing Kim Kardashian getting completely booed at the roast of Tom Brady. So Netflix is a joke. They did it's a 3-hour roast of Tom Brady.
Really?
Did you see that? Yes. I went to go watch it.
I didn't realize it was just all about him.
Well, I don't know because I went to go watch it and I'm just like, I cannot watch a 3-hour roast of Tom Brady. And I think it is all about him because the beginning intro it is all about him for sure because that's the title of it. The beginning intro, they have Drew Bledsoe and then they have Tom Brady and they're like, we're putting you in Tom, and Drew's like, again. So I guess there must be some football joke there that went over my head.
Probably.
But anyway, this roast had jokes that were apparently like so wild for 2024.
I watched some of the jokes. I watched like a highlight reel of the jokes.
There were some very aggressive themes presented.
Yeah.
That were shocking to me even. But the thing that was interesting about it is all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you can see clips of Kim getting like violently booed. Okay. So she walks up and people just like won't let her speak. And I went to go find it on Netflix. I wanted to watch the full clip. On the Netflix show, it's completely cut out. Like you don't see that at all. Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Damn.
So, but she handles it really, really well. She's just like, come on, guys. She just kind of like
a little sassy.
Playfully rolls her eyes, waits for it to stop, and then she goes into her monologue.
Why
so
do
I was very impressed.
Booing her? Like, I'm not to be a dud. Like, I have my issues with her, but why was everyone booing her, you think?
I think just a lot of people hate the Kardashians. I think they hate the Kardashians, and I feel like a roast night is a night where you kind of get to be like a jeering id, right? You just get to be like the worst version of yourself, maybe. Right. And so maybe it's just like, I think it was an hour or two into the program, so maybe people are just drunk,
riled up,
just ready to, you know, shit on the Kardashians when she walked on stage.
Right. Do you want to talk about Tom's roast to her? What Tom said?
Yeah. So, there were two moments in the roast the clips that I saw that I think kind of broke my heart. So one was Tom has 7 rings. So like 7 Super Bowl wins. I think that's what that means. Mm-hmm. And someone joked, well, I think it was Nikki Glazer said this, but she was like, I guess now you have 8 because Giselle gave you back hers. So now you have 8 rings.
Mm-hmm. I think that one gives this thing for me.
He gives this like pained little smile. It stung for me because I saw Giselle's interview. So Giselle gave this interview with Robin Roberts, And it's so sad. So it's this new Nightline interview, and they have her like on her home in Florida, this like beautiful ranch. And anyway, she's like, how are you doing? You know, with like the divorce essentially. And Giselle like kind of get caught up by the question. And she's like, you know, basically you have all these shared dreams with a person like of your life and what it'll be. And then she just like gets so overwhelmed that she's like, hey guys, can we like stop filming?
Oh, wow.
And anyway, I just felt like that's obviously such like a devastating joke to make. I think about like your wife giving back her wedding ring, like the mother of your children. Are you jaded, Chandler?
This is like not hurting me. Like he literally chose football over their family like year after year. So I don't feel bad for him. It does make me sad that both of them are heartbroken in this process, but I don't know. I don't feel like celebrities have just like this like reverence for marriage in the way that maybe you're feeling right now. And so I don't know. It is sad, his expression, but I think it's also a thing where he can't just be like, ha, 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 like big chuckle at it, you know? Maybe they'll get back together.
I definitely don't think they're going to get back together. But I think that, I don't know, it just was a moment. It's a sting. Obviously, this was his family that was broken up, and it will just never be the same. And it was sad for me. I'm sorry you're so jaded, Chandler.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry too. Sorry too.
But they made a joke basically about Kim Kardashian. And what was the exact words of the joke?
So Tom says, I know Kim was terrified to be here tonight, not because of this, but because her kids are at home with their dad.
It's like that.
That was low.
I mean, I think that that's also like a super sad situation where she clearly has had children with someone who has serious mental illness.
Mental issues. Yeah, I don't think that, I think that joke is way worse than what she said. Or what the other person said, excuse me.
They're both very sad situations. So, what?
But one is less sad. One is less sad in my opinion.
One is definitely more common and one is more extreme for sure. Okay.
More sad.
So let's one is less sad. You're right, Chandler. Chandler, you are right. How does it feel?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. What else is going on, Chandler, that we just simply need to debrief on?
I want to quickly talk about a photo that came out of Tom Cruise and his two children, the two children that he has with Nicole Kidman. So we haven't seen a photo of the three of them together since 2009. But we recently, a photo emerged of Tom Cruise posing in a group photo with his adopted daughter, Isabella, and his son, Connor. Isabella's 31, Connor's 29. They're with a big group of people. What's interesting is that this group photo was shared on Instagram by Derek Brooks, who's an NFL legend. Did you know that? And
is he a Scientologist?
His foundation has links to the Church of Scientology. And so this photo was taken before a hockey game in Tampa Bay with against the Florida Panthers. Anyway, this was a photo taken in Florida. And so basically Derek Brooks's charity has had some ties to Scientology. They use a Scientology program for a mentoring event. And I think there's a good chance that the people in this photo are maybe affiliated with Scientology. And the reason why I'm talking so much about Scientology in this situation is because Tom Cruise's two children, these two children, Isabella and Connor, were adopted when him and Nicole Kidman were together. And these kids have chosen to remain in the Church of Scientology with Tom. As far as I know, they are estranged from Nicole Kidman, or we don't know that they have contact. And I just think it's really interesting that, we don't really see them very often. I think they are heavily involved in the Church of Scientology compared to Suri Cruise, who's been estranged from Tom apparently for the last decade. And it's just interesting. I wonder, this must be just very devastating for Nicole Kidman. She obviously has two kids with Keith Urban, but these are also her kids.
It's so sad to think that this might be the first photo she's seen of them since 2007, right? Because that's the last time that we've seen them is 2007? 2009. So maybe that's the last time we've seen a photo of her
with them. Correct. Yeah. She hasn't been seen with them since 2007. I mean, and who knows, we don't know that there hasn't been some type of private meeting.
Right, of course.
But it's clear that they don't spend a lot of time together.
Well, it's also just so crazy because being the mother of two human beings and having no relationship with them, it's just so wild. And yeah, it's a pretty rare sighting. So I think it's very interesting in the celebrity gossip world to have this like clear photo of these two kids.
Right.
I just think it's sad because clearly they are just like consumed by the cult of Scientology. Mm-hmm. And regardless of if they're like the prince and princess of Scientology under Tom, it is just, to me, it's just really sad to see people who clearly don't live a normal life and who are like,
Yeah. I think it's very shocking and alarming when the organization that you're affiliated with, maybe it's a church, maybe it's something else, really ensures that you sever ties with close people in your family who aren't in the in-group.
Right. No. And I think that, obviously Leah Remini has shed so much light on the horrors and abuses that go on within Scientology. So it's very sad, very alarming that these kids
There's 2 interesting comments from Reddit that I want to read.
Okay.
First one says, this is why Katie Holmes set up an escape plan. She saw the, quote, suppressive person estrangement between Nicole and her kids and was scared of that being her future with Suri. I think if it weren't for Scientology, she probably would have stayed with Tom longer, but the amount of control that cult extends is pretty terrifying. It's sad because you could really tell how much Tom loves Suri in every pic of those early years with her. It's shocking how much of a hold Scientology has on him and how he would let it come between him and Suri. And then this other comment that's about Connor and Isabella. So this other comment that's about Connor and Isabella says, they totally deserve the privacy they've clearly wanted, but I'll always be so intrigued by what it means to be a little Scientologist royalty while simultaneously having your parents be global superstars with the bonus of an internationally covered divorce proceedings. This person kind of questions, Suri is doing the NYC Upper East Side kid thing and Bella and Connor are just hanging around Clearwater, Florida. Do they have to have jobs? Are those jobs even real? Do they run internal Scientology charitable endeavors like Ladies Who Lunch? It's very fascinating.
No, this is what I mean by they don't live normal lives, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not in society. It's kind of giving like really high up in the FLDS. Mm-hmm. Like you might be having a nice life within this like small sequestered society, but ultimately like you're living in a cage and in a cult. And so I'm disturbed but intrigued by this new photo.
The other thing, sorry, not to go on too long about this, but it's not like Tom Cruise is like the one rich parent who's got the lifestyles of the rich and famous like type of life for them, and then their other parent is just kind of like a regular Joe Schmo. It's like you could pick Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban and all like going back and forth to Australia and LA, or Tom Cruise.
Okay, so you could pick living in the gorgeous Nashville like estate with Keith and Nicole. You could have Keith Urban strumming, making memories of us over breakfast. Okay. You could have that gorgeous Aussie accent. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm such a Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman love stan. And I think that this shows the powers of Scientology to get their mental grips all over human beings, that it has convinced Connor and Isabella that, it's better to just hang out in Clearwater.
Clearwater is a place for you. Literally. Clearwater is a place for you.
No, I think that's why it's so important to talk about cults, though, getting kind of a little more serious and to shed light on them, because like that's the power that they have, right?
Yes.
That they have the power to estrange people from their families, to really make them crazy.
Yeah.
The human mind is just so fallible, and you look at people who get caught up in NXIVM, who get caught up in all of these cults and upend their entire lives over them, and it's just it's very sad. So anyway, thoughts and prayers.
Apparently, one more last detail. Apparently, Nicole's father passed away and they had a funeral for him in 2014, and Connor and Isabella did not come to that, and Nicole was very devastated by that.
Yeah, clearly this is a situation that is not good, with as little confirmed that we truly know about it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because this is a lot of conjecture, but just assuming that things are as they appear. Okay, well, speaking of another tragic situation, Chandler, Dumois originally reported that she had it confirmed that Bethenny and Paul were split. And Us Weekly reported, I believe yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, but Us Weekly has basically just reported and confirmed that they are split. They are broken up. So this is a quick summary. A mutual friend of the pair told Us Weekly it just wasn't going to work. They're so different. He's an under the radar kind of guy. It was also noted that she still has the ring. So Bethenny and Paul originally started dating in October 2018 after meeting on a dating app, and they announced their engagement in March 2021.
The statement from a friend is pretty rude.
Don't you kind of get it though? Like if your fiance was constantly wanting to make those like TikTok videos and YouTube videos, I just would be like, it's a no for me.
No, for sure. For sure. And I do feel like that side of her presence has been like way dialed up in the last few years. But clearly this is, they are so different. He's an under the radar kind of guy. It was never going to work. Just feels like there's maybe a little bit more bad blood.
It's definitely some shade, but I will forever be perplexed at, and I've said it once, I've said it again, at Bethenny Frankel, like hopping on being like a content clown, like the rest of us,
I know.
who just got to make a buck when she clearly doesn't need to do that. It just makes no sense.
I think she just like loves to do the Bethenny shtick.
I think and I think she loves being famous. She loves being talked about. Like some people just need to be like in the zeitgeist. And I think that's actually like very much like runs counter to the ethos of people who are privately wealthy and just want to be private. Like apparently Paul Bernon is from major family money. This is what someone DM'd.
Okay.
So I always thought that I don't know. I always thought like Bethenny was more the financial pants in that relationship just because I had really no idea about him. But apparently he is from like, this is what the quote was from someone in the DMs, but family money you could only dream of. And it'd be so hard to even wrap your mind around this kind of money. Apparently the ring was like a drop in the bucket for him, like nothing.
Of course she's keeping it.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was very interesting. Apparently, he also was married before Bethenny to a socialite. So this is what someone wrote on Reddit. They said, his ex-wife is a legit Boston socialite, like if Real Housewives was actually real, charity luncheons, galas, house on Nantucket, etc. More of a Tinsley than a Bethenny. She's kind of in the discreet old money crowd who would find Bethenny's online antics embarrassing. So anyway.
I also just never saw them having amazing chemistry. Like maybe we just didn't see him enough. Like we saw a bunch of Jason Hoppy, but I never totally got why they were a good fit. So, I hope both of them move on and, find love and happiness elsewhere.
Chandler, they so appreciate those well wishes. Thank you. I think it's sad because obviously Paul had like a relationship with Brynn and was like a fixture in their lives. So I'm sure that is difficult.
Bryn's fine. She's like on a yacht in Capri. Like she's
that's true. Brynn is fine. Anyway, it is a bummer though because I do only want the best for Bethenny. Oh, this is what I was going to say though. Is Bethenny had a 3-part YouTube series about her divorce. Did you see this?
No.
Okay, so Bethenny was like, I'm telling the whole story of my divorce. Like
reality.
Here's
reckoning.
my divorce reckoning, basically being like saying that she was legally now allowed to talk about it because it was completely over. So she was going all in on discussing it. Ugh, I'm so sad though, because she deleted all of them. She was going to be like a huge series deep diving her divorce. Again, like another thing that like it should be a luxury that you don't need to deep dive your divorce. That should be something you don't need to do
8-year-long
at
divorce.
her financial status.
Just like put it to bed.
Yeah. Anyway, but she hastily deleted all the videos, so that's a big bummer. Yeah. I need to remember what she said in them, but basically she just painted Jason as like being so camera hungry, as like wanting his time. Yeah. And I like having her signed. It was hard to follow because, she can be a little bit like frenetic, but having her like sign documents that she wasn't really aware that she was signing. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah. And apparently her mom just died and that she did this whole, her mom didn't just die. Did her mom just die or did she just talk about it?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure which is true.
Anyway, just sad times for Bethenny Frankel, but we do wish her only the best.
We do.
Okay, I want to talk to you about Nick Viall and Natalie Joy's nightmare honeymoon. You ready for this?
Please.
Okay, so Nick Viall obviously hosts the Viall Files, and he and his fiance Natalie Joy hosts it with him. He's like an ex-Bachelor person. The only reason I want to talk about this is I don't like follow the life and times of Nick Viall, who seems like a perfectly nice person. I don't follow it that closely, but I listen to this because I'm a person who travel logistics are just kind of the sea I swim in, and I find like nightmare travel stories to always be riveting. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So I want to regale you with this. So
okay,
basically what happened is they had like a 3-day wedding And the wedding, they said, went really well. Most of it. Like, she got ditched by her hairdresser last minute. And her hairdresser, who she flew in, like, they couldn't agree on payment terms. And it was a friend. And then the friend just basically, like, left her high and dry day of, because it was like a fight over the money. So that was really sad to hear about, because that would be extremely stressful.
Yeah.
She looked gorgeous though, but they had this 3-day wedding. They said it was amazing. And then they said that before the wedding, her mom had realized that her passport was like expired. And so she had to
the bride's passport.
So no, not the bride's passport. The mom and their daughter were also going on their honeymoon with them. I should have prefaced it with that. Okay. The mom basically to help with the daughter so that they could have a lot of time to themselves on the honeymoon.
Sure.
So anyway, the mom scrambles to get her passport. They said they had 1 day between the wedding and going on the honeymoon. And they said that day was just packed with getting stuff ready and like errands. Right. Okay. And where were they going on their honeymoon? Turks and Caicos from LA. And Turks and Caicos is in the Caribbean. It's a very far way to go from LA. And so they said that basically their point was basically that they barely slept like every night of the wedding. So they were super sleep deprived. And then they had this flight at 5 a.m. the next morning. So they were running on what felt like 3 days of no sleep. Okay.
Right.
Because they said they didn't go to bed till 12:30 and had to wake up at 3 to get to the airport for their flight to Turks and Caicos.
Yeah. Okay.
So they landed Turks and Caicos and they hand over their passports, and then they come back and they basically said there was a problem with one of the passports. Nick thought it was his initially because he just assumed he was the problem, but it was Natalie. So her passport had like a little rip in it. They said one of the pages was torn. And because of that, they were like, it's going to be totally fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to get you on the next flight out. Like, you can't come into Turks and Caicos.
Oh, stop. Like they were like at the airport in Turks and Caicos.
They were at the airport. They'd flown all the way there with their kid, with their mother-in-law. And they're like, yeah, we're sending you back home. Okay. They said they had like splashed out on this honeymoon experience. Like, I'm sure they probably got some suite that was like $5,000 a night or something crazy. Right. So he said that they were like, we've been working so hard. It's our honeymoon. We're going to go big. So they had this huge experience. Also, they're like on this high. I hope this is interesting for people. This was very interesting for me. They're on this high from their wedding, okay? And this amazing experience. Obviously, it's your honeymoon. You want it to go well. And then you're so sleep deprived. You're there with your baby and your mother-in-law, and they're like, you can't come into this country. So it was funny though. They were like, the people were so nice. And so we kind of, it didn't really sink in that like they weren't going to fully let her in, because they kept being like, oh, it's going to be totally fine. You know, it's going to be totally fine. We're going to take care of you. Like, basically, we're going to get you on the next flight out of here. So then that flight was at 2 p.m. It gets delayed till 6 p.m. Okay. So they've been now in the Turks and Caicos tiny airport with like no AC, they said, all day.
Oh my gosh.
And the flight gets canceled. So they're like panicked. Also, they said that their baby is like completely melting down.
Of course.
Okay. The baby is used to napping, all this stuff, and like, or the toddler. And now is just completely melting down from having this long travel day and then being in the Turks and Caicos airport for so long. So I guess Delta put them up for one night at like the airport hotel. And they said they got the airport hotel, or the wherever they put them up was like nice enough. They got there and like they got there when it was dark, and they left the next morning when it was dark. So they like never even saw the ocean. Oh, they said it was just like the most nightmare situation. And they just basically had to cancel their honeymoon. Luckily enough, they got their money back, but it was sad because they're like, yeah, we have like all these work commitments. It's not like we can just like reschedule, like take a bunch of time off.
That's crazy. I thought there was going to be some like miracle at the end where it was like they figured it out. They were able to go for a couple of days. Wow. That's so devastating.
Like, it's just like it's canceled. And so they're like, yeah, you know, we're trying to figure out maybe Puerto Rico, because like the passport thing is now a problem.
And passport issues are just the worst. This reminds me of Ben needs to figure his out, because we have
why? What's wrong with his passport?
Well, I think it just expires in the next several months, and you know.
In the next several months?
Not in the next several months. I think it expires like early March next year or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of those passport places that do it same day, you have to fly to them because they're not in every state.
Yeah.
There's like 20 of them or something. So anyway, this just sounded like the most total and complete nightmare. And I really felt bad for them.
Yeah. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I like the two of them together. And so I hope they get to go eventually. And this is like a good word to the wise. Everyone else, make sure your passport's intact.
Yeah, well, Kagan's passport is like destroyed right now, and he has a bunch of international travel coming up, and I want to try to convince him to just get a new one just to keep things good, because his is almost expired and it's just completely destroyed. But he like, of course, thinks that's unnecessary. But yeah, anyway, good reminder, everyone, to make sure there's not a single rip in your passport. Oh, also another thing that's going on, Jen.
Yeah,
this like husband and wife, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
From somewhere like rural, they went to Turks and Caicos as well. And the husband had ammunition in his bag from deer hunting that he forgot about. Okay. So on the flight, they got into Turks and Caicos, but like bullets. Yeah. When they were leaving though, Turks and Caicos was like arrested both of them, because I guess that's like on the list of things you can't bring. Yeah. And he's facing 12 years in prison in Turks and Caicos.
Oh my gosh.
For bringing this ammunition into the country.
Wow.
And like traveling with contraband.
That's crazy.
12 years in prison. Originally, they arrested both of them, but they let her go back to the United States. They have 2 young children. And literally her husband is facing 12 years in prison in Turks and Caicos. Because he just he forgot about it. And it's like, anyway, very sad.
It wasn't a gun. It was just bullets, but I guess
it was bullet. It was ammunition from a deer hunting trip.
Wow. Yikes.
Please unpack your deer hunting bags, everyone, before you travel.
Yeah, please.
Caicos especially.
How many times do we have to tell you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, I just thought that was all pretty interesting. Anything else before we close out today, Chandler?
No, let's close out. We've covered a lot. We've gone from Met Gala look reviews to travel warnings, if you're a deer hunter. So I think we've covered a lot of ground.
You guys, thank you so much for being pop apostles. We need to start using that phrase more. I think it's cute. And
it is cute.
The apostles, they do a lot of good work for this podcast, all the people who love it. If you would be so kind, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple iTunes. It would mean a lot. And also, pop apostles, please let the word of pop apologists, the good word of pop apologists, please spread it to all corners of the earth. Okay. Share
please.
Pop apologists with a friend. Share your favorite episode. And we'll be back on Friday for Patreon.
See you then. Love you guys.
See ya. Bye. That's all for now, folks. Don't forget, give us a 5-star review, hit us up on Instagram at popapologists, and we will see you next week, live every Wednesday.